So I saw Garrett Wilson and Sauce Gardner at my bank today. Let me just say they own the bank now. Money! See the money! Oh, I was just like, goodness, thank goodness they got the deal done. I was a little worried. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, are they gonna screw this up again? Well, they got it done, and Sauce Gardner is now the highest paid corner by like what 100K or whatever. Got to do it, of course. Garrett Wilson's the fifth highest paid receiver, which he earned at what $32.5 million. Well done. I'm glad they got these guys signed. We need core players. Garrett Wilson, Sauce Gardner. Still got a couple other guys we need to. AVT is going to be a guy. Brees Hall this offseason as well. Got to stay healthy this overall in general. I think that's his biggest Achilles heel. And no puns intended. We know Achilles heel. Let's go through this roster, though, here before I screw myself and jinx all the players. And then the Jets obviously suck.
You suck, you jackass.
Why don't you shut the hell up?
And I have him at number 30, which is a little bit low. Hopefully, I look, as a Jets fan, it's easier to be tougher on your favorite team.
You will not make this putt, you jackass.
I just feel like that's kind of the case. But I'm really, really hyped I'm hyped every single season. However, I really do think this football team is actually getting better. And you look at this offensive line, like that to me is, I have not seen a Jets offensive line look this good since the Nick Mangold, the Brickashaw Ferguson days. You've got Olu Fashanu. You have Armin Embu at tackles. I rank them at 24. It's just because they're young. I think this might be one of the best up-and-coming tackle duos, as good as possibly the Detroit Lions, the Minnesota Vikings. It has the potential to be that. So excitement. I'm excited, man, if you can't tell. I mean, it's just something I have not seen with this Jets team, and I've been longing for it.
You believe in miracles? Yes!
You got Carter Warren. You got Chucks there and a Match Mixel as your swing tackles for the unit, which gives you some depth. Interior offensive line also looks very strong. Now, there's less projection here because John Simpson was really good last season. That was definitely a surprise for me. He was very, very good. Elijah Vera Tucker, very good as well. Guard ranking number 9 in the NFL, top 10 position. So as the center position in Joe Tippmann. I'm hearing rumors that Josh Myers may end up beating out Joe Tippmann. That's kung fu-ry, man. That's what I'd be saying. I like Josh Myers. Good player. I think he's a starter in the NFL, or he could be a starter in the NFL very easily. But Tippmann, he's a top tier, can be an elite center. I understand the Justin Fields, the connection with the Ohio State thing. If Myers straight up beats him out, I get it. But overall, like, I don't want it to just put, Myers in because of the whole connection thing. I think that Tippmann was a beast last season. He's your young guy, and so Myers young too. But overall, Tippmann is the dude, man. I like him a lot. This offensive line, I can't speak enough about how happy I am with this offensive line. So let's stop gushing, right? Let's move on to some things that we need to work on in this season. What do we have to watch with this team? Like, if you say to me the offense didn't succeed because of this reason, well, quarterback and wide receiver. I think this wide receiving room does have a lot to be desired. You got Garrett Wilson, which is basically he's holding the receiving core up for sure, in my opinion, at 22 ranking. I am excited about Arian Smith. The guy has so much upside. If he can hold on to the football, he really could be Garrett Wilson 2.0. I mean, there's some similarities with Arian Smith. He's faster than Garrett Wilson. He's not as good of a route runner as Garrett Wilson, in my opinion, but Arian Smith has all the ability. Like, that dude has legit movement skills to be a number 1 receiver if he knows how to play the receiver position. That's really been his thing going to Georgia. Josh Reynolds, a very good veteran. I like that signing. And you got Alan Lazard still. He did play better last year, so I got to give him credit where credit's due. It's an okay unit. You got Tyler Smith that's probably rolling in as your 4th receiver early on in training camp and as the season gets rolling. Malachi Corley, I don't know if he's going to make the roster. That's a very interesting. It'll be between him and Xavier Gipson. That's my guess. Who ends up making the roster there? Gibson, of course, with some of the stuff he's done. I'd love to see Gibson still here as a Jets fan. But once again, we'll have to kind of wait and see. And then, in terms of the UDFAs, guys that I would say, sure, have potential. I mean, Irvin Charles is more of a special teamer. I think he could make that. It is Quentin Skinner and Jamal Pritchett. I do like Pritchett. I think he's a guy that could end up being sneaky as a guy that comes out of nowhere, ends up making the team. Who knows? But I do think there's a little bit of long shot, more of a practice squad. Those guys seem like practice squad candidates. The receiver position, though, it just comes down to who's going to take pressure off Garrett Wilson. Like, when teams are doubling him, who's going to be that guy that can step up? And that's really my only issue with this receiver. Because, like, I wonder if they're going to have that guy this year. Tight end wise, Mason Taylor. Yes, we got Mason Taylor in here. We don't have to deal with a Taylor over at Miami anymore. Mason Taylor, tight end. I think he's going to be a plug and play guy. So this position definitely got elevated. It would have been like 32 in the league. Now it's 30. He's a rookie, so we have to kind of see how things go. But I do think Taylor's going to hit the ground running. I'm not really worried about that. I think he can have 500 yards in his rookie season. I don't think that's out of the question. Plus, his blocking skills are fine. Jeremy Redkert back up with Stone, Smart, Zach Kuntz. We'll see. It's not a very deep roster, so a lot of these guys most of them should be able to make it. Into the running back room, which is a very good one. I see this as a top 10 running back room if they stay healthy. It just comes down to there's been some inconsistencies, consistency-wise. Brees Hall, if he stays on the field, you got Braylon Allen. Isaiah Davis, too, looked really good at the end of the season. So I think he could end up working into a bigger role next year. Plus, you got Don, right? Donovan Edwards is a UDFA, certainly has some potential there. I mean, he struggled at Michigan, no doubt, but he definitely has some serious talent as a guy that I would fully expect to at least make the practice squad, if not the roster. I think there's a really good running back room. I really do. You got Andrew Beck as a fullback. I feel strong about this group in general. Brees Hall, man, this is your opportunity to be a top 10 running back, maybe even a top 5 running back with a good offensive line. Don't rule it out. I'm just going to say that right now. Don't rule it out. Brees Hall, you fantasy owners, I think Brees Hall is about to have a monstrous season. On to the quarterback position. Justin Fields. May the fields be clear.
If you build, he will come.
I know that's baseball, but we got Fields of Dreams out here. Justin Fields. What can you do, right? You got to read the court, or you got to read the field better. But he's got all the talent, man. I know he does. And I'm really hoping this is going to be the year, right? Tanner Eggstrand now is the OC coming over from the Detroit Lions, implementing his system with Justin Fields. Obviously, AG is the head coach. We'll talk more about coaching at the end, but this is the time, Justin. Let's get it together. He can be the franchise quarterback. Maybe we have the Jared Goff 2.0 situation. That's what I'm hoping, man. But again, with the rankings, I have to start off with a little bit of conservative in mind. Conservative? We got Tyrod Taylor here. Brady Cook. I think Brady Cook can end up beating out Adrian Martinez, but that's something to watch out for in training camp as the third quarterback. Then I do think they're going to keep 3 quarterbacks. Defense, though. Here we go. Here's the defense. Let's look at the defensive line. Well, the defensive line, the edge position, 27th in the league. They have taken a little bit of a blow, of course, and they're not as deep as they once were. And that is really one of my biggest concerns here. I like the starters. Jermaine Johnson coming back from injury will be something that might take him a little bit of time to get fully healthy, like a Harold Landry, where like halfway through the season, he kind of sparks it going, and then second half of the year, he gets going. Will McDonald. I love Will McDonald, man. E-I-E-I-O, had a farm, let's go. And McDonald is a great pass rusher if he can be more well-rounded in the run game. Definitely have a dynamic 1-2 punch off the edge. Michael Clemens, Eric Watts, Tyler Barron. They did draft there in the later rounds there. What was it, 6th round or something like that? Or maybe it was earlier than that. I forget. But Barron from Miami. I wasn't super high on Tyler Barron. However, hey, I'm rooting for you now, man. Let's go. You got Brandon McGregor. The depth will be the biggest, for me, the question. If they have injuries, this edge room could be a little rough. Their interior looks good, though, with Quentin Williams. Now, besides Quentin Williams, I do like Leonard Taylor a lot. Brian Cowart is a very solid player as well. So I love that sign. I thought it was a really good deal. It was like $2 million, not expensive. You got Derek Nottie, can be an early down run defender. Fedarian Mathis, why not bring him in? Obviously the Washington Commanders cut him, so give him an opportunity there. This room, watch out also for Peyton Page. I think he's a guy that at least makes the practice squad and could be a little bit of a UDFA find as well from Clemson. This interior looks very solid, though. I think they'll get the job done. It's not going to be an elite unit. That's why I rank him 14th. But when you have a guy like Quentin Williams, who is an elite player, it's going to help everybody else out. The linebacking position here looks really solid. Jermaine Sherwood, Quincy Williams, 1-2 punch that I'm excited for this season. It was good last year, and I think we got a really good linebacking core to build with AG. They're gonna thrive. And then watch out, though, because Quincy Williams is going to a contract year. I think that it will be something that there's a real good chance that they have to let him go. But also at the same time, if he fits really well in AG's system this year, then it wouldn't shock me if they bring him back because he's a great football player. They drafted Francisco Malinois from Miami. I liked him a lot, and I do think he's a guy that's a little limited in terms of athleticism. Not like a freakish athlete or nothing, but he understands the game. He's kind of got the same sort of mentality Quincy Williams has, like just that hard-nosed, I'm attacking style dude. So I really like that about Francisco Malinois. So keep an eye out on him. Definitely think he is a guy that could end up being that 1-2 punch. Fits really well with Jermaine Sherwood. Speaking of, you got Jermaine Davis here as a more backup. So I'm cool with Jermaine Davis as a guy that will fill early on as the number 3 guy, right? So he's going to be the dude and whatnot. If they're in base 4-3 packages or whatever, if they need another linebacker, I imagine Davis will be out there. Jair Barnes competing for special teams with some of these other guys. On to the cornerback room. Of course, it starts with Sauce Gardner. I can't wait to see what he does and how he looks this year as a bounce back year in AG system. Totally see that. But when you think of AG, you're going to think of more man coverage, right? Get in your face. I want to be physical. I want to attack you, right? And I think that's what they're going to do. And that's why they went out and signed Brandon Stevens and drafted Azariah Thomas, which is Azariah Thomas. Let's go. I was so excited. I mean, I had a first round grade on this guy. And to get him in the 3rd round, I was shocked. I would have been so cool if we would have gotten him in the 2nd round. I was like, he's still on the board. Go get Azariah Thomas there. They get him in the 3rd round. That was one of my favorite picks of this entire draft class for the New York Jets. I really think he's going to be a stud in a perfect scheme fit. Yeah, he's going to get better as a tackler. I think that's why he fell, because teams are like, oh, we got to have tacklers. I want the guy to be able to cover. We can teach tackling. He's got the length too. He's got the athleticism. I'm not worried about that. He's one of the stickiest man coverage corners in this past draft, right there with Ben Morrison. So to get him where we got him, absolute steal in my opinion, gold mine. And I do think Brandon Stevens is going to be way better than he was last year for Baltimore, because Baltimore was more of a zone heavy team, a lot of cover 3 and stuff like that. I think Stevens is way better in a man coverage scheme. So for this system and for AG, I really think he's going to have a resurgence. Like, he played a little bit better, a lot better in his early times at Baltimore. He even played at the slot sometimes there for Baltimore early in his career. I think he'll have a resurgence here for the Jets. So I'm okay with the signing. It wasn't like breaking the bank either. Michael Carter just got to stay healthy. Really good slot corner. You got Isaiah Oliver is a great backup as well. He can play inside out. This is a good room. I mean, Jarek Bernard Converse, Quintus Stiggers will be competing for roster spots, I'm sure. And then you got some practice squad guys. Let's go on to the safety room to fill us out at number 23, my ranking. I'm actually more optimistic than maybe what you find. I don't know what the average rank is for this safety room for the Jets, but I imagine it's kind of on the low end. I really like Andre Cisco for this fit here for AG as that ball hawk safety, that free safety, that back end defender. Tony Adams can play a little up and down there for this team. And then we weren't done. We got somebody in the draft that also, another dude that I can't believe was going under the radar as much as Malachi Moore. Malachi Moore, yes, in the slot at Alabama. He did start as a true freshman, might add. But, and that's a huge thing, I'll tell you, under Saban. Yeah, absolutely. That's a telling thing. But Malachi Moore in the slot, yes, he struggled at times. He got blown by. He doesn't have the greatest athleticism in terms of that, maybe not the most explosiveness, but as a safety, and when he played there at Alabama as a true safety, he was excellent. He's got insane instincts. I think he is going to be a great addition for this football team. Also, he was a big time team captain and huge leader. You go and talk about that Alabama, they always mention Malachi Moore as being a big time vocal leader. I love that. That's exactly what we need in the back end to be able to develop there. Remember, Tony Adams is a free agent. So is Andre Cisco. So both of these guys are free agents, and we definitely need to have some young guys. I think Malachi Moore, even though we were unable to get Jaden Hicks last year, I think Chiefs jumped up in front of us, and I knew that's who we wanted. I wanted Hicks so bad. At least this year we got Malachi Moore. So going on to the coaching staff now, I think Aaron Glenn will be really good. The ranking of 28, once again, you just don't know what you don't know right now. Tanner Engstrand, I got to see him in action, right? That's just a big thing. He's not been an offensive coordinator before. You got Steve Wilks. I know there's a baseline with Steve Wilks, and he should be okay. I don't think he's an elite defensive coordinator, but he will be in the Robert Saleh mold, and I think he'll be fine. I mean, I don't think he's good as Robert Saleh, but I do think he will be a solid addition and help with AG and figuring things out. AG is going to probably be making a lot of stuff, even though he's going to be the head coach. He'll be helping out on that defense for sure. But he's already said, hey, I want to help out on offense and defense, which I love. I love from a coach, man. So he can be like that field general. I have the Jets as a 4-13 ranking for this season. I really do think it's going to take time. And I think we need to be patient with Aaron Glenn and this coaching staff. It's just not going, more than likely, this is not going to be something with Justin Fields coming in there where all of a sudden just going to take off. I do think there's going to be a learning curve. There's going to be a process. I just don't want them to give up so quickly and be patient. I actually kind of want us to struggle, go through the struggles, because that to me is what makes the difference in finding out, do you have a good football coach, right? I don't want to go like 8-8 and then kind of like next year drop off. I'd rather start off so like the Lions did when they got Dan Campbell. They started off a little bit tough and then they build things up, right? And that's what I want the Jets to do here. And that's what my hope is. I got them going 4-13. Certainly let me know what you think. Agree or disagree, man. But that's, where I'm at right now, number 30. And we'll get on to number 29 next. Who is it going to be? I don't know, man. We'll find out.